Take it away, boss.
And we're on. And we're on. Welcome to another thrilling podcast with Rule 43. I'm a host, Wyatt, and here is my co-host, the Rolex wearing, carbon fiber ring wearing, skin suit wearing, kiss stealing, woo! Giant riding, jet flying, mountain bike riding, son of a gun, and he's having a hard time keeping those Shimano pedals still. This is Jordan being himself.
Wow, what an introduction.
Been waiting all week to say
You're
that.
such a good co-host. Honestly. Hype man. You're like the Flavor Flav of cycling podcasts.
Right on. It's our Valentine's Day special.
I love you, buddy.
Not that every episode's not special, but this one will be like special because it's a Valentine's Day special. So
Indeed, yes. It'll be at least a half an hour full of romance and bromance and everything in between.
So I think, like, as cyclists, the only thing we love more than ourselves is our bikes, and we ought to start this off with our love poem dedications to our bikes. Do you want to go first, or you want me to break the ice here?
I think you should go first because I'm not super confident in my choices, but let's see what you got.
Okay, I'm 100% going to tell you that ChatGPT did not write this.
Okay, good.
Gone down the road so full of glee, on a sunny day, my bike and me. A climb ahead, pure ecstasy. We'll seek those peaks, my bike and me. Grand Fondos feel like easy street. We're built for speed, my bike and me. Her carbon frame, so sleek and lean. We're turning heads, my bike and me. Our forbidden love, like Shakespeare's tragedy. Two hearts that beat as one, my bike and me. My girlfriend says she's gonna leave. She just can't understand my bike and me.
Buddy, that's beautiful.
Yeah, it really come from the heart, that one.
It did. I feel like an asshole because I'm a busy guy. I didn't sit down and
You didn't do your homework assignment?
I did my homework assignment, or rather, I leveraged AI.
You mailed it in.
Yes. I mean, we talked about the fact that we would probably incorporate ChatGPT to help us write some jokes and stuff for the show early on when we were planning this podcast. So really, this is just that idea come to fruition.
Oh, cool. We talked about this before. Well, give it a run. Let's see if it plays.
Okay. I wrote.
You wrote a prompt.
I did. I wrote two prompts. The first was to write me a country song in the style of Johnny Cash that is an ode to my road bike, my Cervelo R3.
So are you cracking your guitar out for this one?
I kid you not, while I was eating supper, I tried to find an AI tool that would take these lyrics and actually turn it into a song like I've seen, but I couldn't find anything suitable fast enough. So unfortunately, I'm just going to have to recite this one, beat poetry style. And yeah, you get what you get, man. I mean, but I blame the bots. In the early morning light, I take a glance at you, your gunmetal gray and white, shining under the dew. 2014 was the year you came into my life. With your Di2 shifting, you cut through the air like a knife. Oh, my Cervelo R3, you're more than just a ride. Through road races and crits, you've been my faithful guide. With your deep dish carbon wheels, we've raced against the time. And after all these years, you're still in your prime. Your rim brakes have held strong in the heat of the chase. Through every hard-fought sprint, every high-speed race, we've seen miles together under the sun and rain. That's false. I don't ride my road bike in the rain. And every time I ride, it's like the first time again. Oh, my Cervelo R3, you're more than just a ride through races. Okay, there's a chorus, I guess, that repeats. Some folks chase the latest, always seeking something new. But this bond we've created, it's honest and true. You're not just carbon and gears, you're a part of me. Together, we're unbeatable, my Cervelo and me. Now, as the years roll on, they say I should move on too, but they don't understand the journey we've been through. For every scratch and scuff tells a story of our ride. In my heart and in my garage, which I don't have, forever you'll reside. And that may well be true. Chorus again, outro. Here's to you, my trusted steed, my companion on the road, my Cervelo R3. with stories yet untold. May our journey never end. May our wheels never cease. Riding into the sunset, just my Cervelo and me in peace.
Wow.
It's actually not bad. It's not
When
bad.
you workshop stuff, you're supposed to, this is how you applaud.
Oh yeah?
Yeah,
Okay.
I went to creative writing class one time.
You don't clap loudly?
It just
This is
seems like the
this
most, I
is
think,
sign language for
I think you just
applause.
got to make it a little bit more pretentious when you're in creative writing class and say, hey, good
Sure.
job, buddy. You got to go,
I love it. I love it. All right. This is for the bots. Boop, boop,
this
boop,
is
boop,
for the
boop.
boss. Way
I
to
wrote a
go. Way to
second
go.
one. I don't know if we have time for a second one or not. I'll leave that up to you. The
Let's
first
hold
one was
on
a
to that. Let's
bit
hold
of a
on to that and
bust.
get to some of the meat and potatoes here we got planned. Since it's Valentine's Day, are you taking your sweetie on a bike ride or what?
Absolutely. 100%.
Tell me now? Where does a feller take a nice date for a romantic bike ride around this beautiful city of ours?
You know, I'll say probably Stanley Park laps for a bunch of reasons, which is separate from the question of like where's the most romantic place to take a bike ride. And I asked about that and was effectively sworn to secrecy. So
What? By who though? By
I
whom?
will not be sharing my most romantic cycling spots. I will say the ideal spot to take somebody on a ride is one where there's at least one stop that is both secluded and has a beautiful view. How's that?
Oh,
You just fill in the blanks for yourself.
all right. All right.
There you go.
First Lookout, I think, is a beauty spot.
Yeah, if one stops there, I just carry on right on past and
Let's say you're on a date though, like your date's gonna get wore out. I guess if it's a first date too, you can test your date out, see if they're gonna cut the mustard, right?
that's true. Yes, and it really does depend on the date. I am lucky enough to have I if I had more time, I'd have written a proper poem about what it is to ride in your partner's draft. You know,
Oh,
like
ooh.
there and I'm not trying to be rude about that or anything. I mean, like to have a peer in bike racing behind whom you can get a draft from because they are an apt bike racer is a very special feeling that I wish everybody could experience.
Oh, look at us go, eh? Exploring romance in all its forms.
There you go. Yeah. Like if you're not trading pulls into a headwind, is it even really love?
There's so much innuendo in that.
That's the way I operate. There's
So like
layers.
Sploops, First Lookout's a good one.
Yes.
I mean, if
Fisherman's Trail. But
Fisherman's Trail is pretty good. Haunted Go-Kart Track is pretty much giving me my pick for every.
it's your favorite segment on everything.
Exactly. Like that
That's fair.
could be like, yeah.
Yeah.
Like that line from that one movie where it's like, oh, it's a hitchhiker. Hey, this is how most porno movies start out. And the other guy's like, oh, this is how most horror movies start out.
Was it Stu had a couple of suggestions when we asked on social media for romantic ride ideas. What did he say? There was, I think, didn't he suggest a few? Or am I
Oh, he
imagining
did too.
things?
No, you didn't imagine
We did
nothing.
our homework and then we didn't include it in our show notes. But shout out to Stu who had some suggestions that.
But the Stu, who's always got the suggestions. He's getting top prize for the
most engaged fan.
Most engaged fan.
Top 1 out of 7. We joked about this all weekend long about how, we appreciate all 7 of our subscribers and people who are watching. If you're crazy enough to actually tune in, I mean, we're very grateful.
So I went when I was in New Zealand this past winter. I took a gal on a bicycle date on mountain bikes, and the plan was like there's a big lake, like the town's on a big, huge lake, and there's a great like lakeside trail for miles and miles, and it's flat. So the idea was like, hey, let's go take this lakeside trail on these mountain bikes. We'll just go for a little tootle around. And she was skeptical, like, I don't want you like pulling me out of the water and blah blah blah. And I was like, no, don't worry, it'll be fine. And then we got on the bikes, and we get going a little ways, and I was like, you know what? Maybe we should take this trail over to this waterfall. That'd be way cooler. And I thought again, like it'll be beside the river the whole way, it'd be relatively flat, lots of people do it, so it's probably not gonna be that hard. And it wasn't quite like that. So
treacherous, and
yeah.
you got yourself into some heat.
Yeah, I'm still hearing about it to this day. But
See, don't make that mistake. That there's a lesson there. Don't make that same mistake. Stick to the well-trodden tourist paths with
plan. Don't go by spur of the moment. Spontaneity is good in your love life, but not in your bike rides with your love life.
take it step by step. Yes, there's a yeah, good lesson. Good lesson.
But I mean, with that said, like she's still around, so I mean, it wasn't that bad.
Well, you're a charming fellow, and I'm sure you turned it into a wonderful experience.
Of course,
Yeah, love is all around.
love's all around. So let's say you're gonna buy your sweetie a gift for Valentine's Day, and it's a bike gift. What do you buy him?
Ooh, put me on the spot. I should have read your show notes a little bit better.
Besides,
Um,
like the apology milkshake after the ride, where you're like, "I'm really sorry, I didn't mean to
well,
do that."
assuming you're one of the lucky few whose partner is a cyclist, I would go with an accessory that is both practical and just outside of, something that is generous and thoughtful and practical, useful, but something they might not run out and buy themselves, like a brand
A
new
vibrating
headlight.
bike seat.
Buddy, it's not that kind of show. No, I was thinking more like a headlight, for example. A
Yeah.
headlight is something very good, or a really nice tail light, or something like that, where it's like, you probably wouldn't spend this kind of money on a headlight for yourself, but here's something that's thought about, maybe a piece of cycling kit. I'm trying to think of things that I've bought over the years, but it's more like I've been gifted a lot of nice things, jackets and gloves and things like that, where it's like it's on your wish list. Oh, for Christmas, I received a wolf tooth multi-tool that has like the built-in chain pliers. It's a
Wow, that's
glorious
romantic.
piece of kit. Yes, that is
So
love, my
romantic.
friend. That is love.
That's and that, the good thing about our club too is like you can just you buy any piece of kit from the club and call it Valentine's gift because it's like pink, right?
There it is. Yeah, exactly. I was
You
gonna
guys
wear
are
my
thinking
pink
when you put
shirt
this together.
I was gonna wear my pink shirt as well. I even brought it, but then I realized I'll probably clash with my fancy background. So
I'm just, like, I thank you. I thank you for that because I was gonna have to like come up with some reason why we both decided to wear the pink shirt and didn't talk to each other about coordination first.
I think that would actually be kind of cool if we did. But if there was ever an episode, it's this one, right? No, I mean technically we've talked about this before. My pink shirt clashes a little bit. It reflects a little funny with my green screen, so
Mm.
I didn't want to risk it. What's the next item on our agenda? We haven't talked about this, or did we? Did we? The segment was the bike ride thing. Is that
No, I got the
with a
segment for
separate?
later. I want
Oh,
to talk
right,
now because so
right.
I heard a story about you
Okay.
just being the club member with the top notch Riz because we have a new member that was just specifically became a member because they saw you out sporting your kit and being dope as hell, and they were like, I want to be in that guy's bike club. So tell me, what's some tips for like throwing out the Riz when you're riding bikes?
Refer to the rules of cycling, and I don't know. I can't remember exactly what rule number it is, but it's always be casually deliberate. I think I was at Isetta, at a coffee shop, being casually deliberate, as there was a cadre of us around, and yeah, so a young lady approached us and wanted to become a member of the club. And I know we joke about that or whatever, but that that means so much to me. You have no idea. For somebody to walk up, to have the courage to approach us because we looked cool and friendly enough to be approached, and to ask about joining, and then to subsequently meet me separately for coffee and have me, explain what we're about. And, there's a certain amount of like, we'd love you to join, and here's what we're about and everything else. But there's also kind of like a filtering process there where it's like, if you're afraid of, these longer distance rides and, the potential of, us trying to convince you to race bikes and things like that, then maybe this isn't for you. Yeah, you never know where people are coming from, right? But to have all of that take place and then to have somebody join the club, it meant a lot to me. Love is all around. It just, yeah, it's just an immense moment of pride that in a way it was kind of like the bike jersey doing its job, where, we have this bright pink kit and we just look like a lot of fun, and it worked.
We are a lot of fun.
It went exactly according to plan.
We're a lot of fun in any colored kit.
Fair, but cycling clubs are intimidating, man. Like, it's not every day that somebody would just approach a group of people in a cycling club, especially not somebody who looks like me. I mean, I'm an old man on a bike.
You're a cover model for Cycling Magazine, Jordan. Don't sell yourself short. I mean, she probably looked over. And you're sitting there wearing our pink jerseys, sipping our cortados, and she goes, "Those are impeccably shaved legs. He even got around the ankles. There's no cuts, no scrapes. This is the kind of guy I need to talk to about riding bikes." And you got to have that perfect mix too, right? Like, you can't be like too cool and aloof looking, but you got to be like kind of welcoming looking too. So you're right. Like, this is the perfect mix, because we look cool enough that people want to hang out with us, but we don't look too cool that people are like, I don't want to talk to that guy.
I guess that's it.
We're probably the rizziest bike club there is.
I just want to say thank you to my co-host for reading the script exactly as I wrote it. I'm kidding. No, man, that's incredibly nice bunch of stuff you just said about me. And
I'm also just assuming that because you have teenage kids, you know what Riz means.
I do know that it is.
And you were going to blame it on this is because you have teenage kids, and that's why you know.
It's
not because you were TikToking.
Charisma.
Not because you were TikToking.
No.
This is a cool word. This will keep me hip.
Yeah, no, that my kids say that all the time. Or rather, I have one kid that says that all the time. Yeah.
Yeah. They go, there's my dad with all the Riz.
No, that's not the context in which she says it at all. It's quite the opposite. In fact, if me and Riz appear in the same sentence, it's definitely in the negative.
Do they know about this? You're so far, like, as far as 2020 goes, you're leading the gang in recruits this year.
Well, that's good. I know I was second place last year to Michelle because she had a wonderful year finding people, i.e. you. But
double points for this guy.
True. Yeah. How can I compete with that? That's good news. And I think we can all do better, though. We still need to grow. And if anybody's watching this and they're curious about joining, give us a shout out. Hit up the club Instagram DMs, and within at least 2 weeks, I'll have checked them.
You got to hit up the club. Hit up Rule 43 podcast on Instagram.
Yes. Yeah.
Comment on something you hear that offended you, and that's why you want to join, because you want to talk to the manager.
I love how the two of us kind of like communicate to one another using the podcast Instagram, like who's logged in at any given time. It's like, well, I'm like replying as me, but I'm also asking questions as Jordan on Instagram, and it's it's funny.
I do notice that
we know what's going on.
Yeah. The first likes that we got on our reel was from us. So
yeah, well, you gotta feed the algorithm.
Yeah, right? we're inflating.
When we say we have 7 subscribers, the fact the 2 of them are us is nobody else's business, right?
Exactly. I'm really embarrassed. Like, I do like when we get the audience participation, but then I was so disappointed in myself today to publish that one, and I left a typo in it.
Oh, I didn't even see the typo.
Don't worry about it. But I mean, it was dynamite. It was probably the most romantic bike scene that's ever appeared in film before. Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
Okay, I was wondering where it was from, because the brain just is not working. Robert Redford.
Yeah?
Is it?
Well, that's Paul Newman.
Paul Newman.
Robert Redford was a Sundance Kid.
Anyway, I was close.
Did you know, here is a huge segue. Did you know that my dad worked at a ranch where the Sundance Kid allegedly worked as well?
I did not.
Not at the same time, clearly, but...
Right. Your cowboy stories, man. We could probably have an entirely separate podcast about Wyatt cowboy stories.
We could do that entirely. So this is the funny thing that I was going to bring up today too, is like, now that I'm a cyclist, Like I do all sorts of cool stuff to like look cool when I'm out in public that I never would have dreamed of doing and going to a rodeo. Namely, shaving my legs and wearing lycra. So
Nothing wrong with it though. It's nothing is more cowboy than leaning into your lycra wearing leg shaving persona, right?
yeah, yeah, I
Isn't?
suppose. I don't know. Probably not. I'm not. If I ever go,
Like
if
I
I
said,
ever
I'm
go
not an
back,
expert on the cowboy code. That's you.
if I ever go back, we're just gonna pretend that never happened.
I guess. Yeah. I don't. Yeah. Would you be disowned?
No, no, I've been disowned already. There's a
Yeah.
million other reasons for them to disown me besides riding bikes.
There's no going back to the cowboy life now that you've crossed over.
Exactly. And now, like I told you on the weekend, it's got to be mutually exclusive.
Right. Yeah. It's you're cowboy or you're nothing, but you can't be.
Exactly.
I hear
You
you.
can't be like a cowboy businessman or like a cowboy cyclist. You're just like the guy, the Iron Cowboy guy. He did no, well, he's not a cyclist. He's a triathlete, but he did like 100 triathlons in a row. But he calls himself the Iron Cowboy. It was an incredible feat. But like, fuck, buddy, don't call yourself cowboy. Don't put cowboy on stuff. The culture's not your costume. He's not even a fucking cowboy.
See,
Gets
we
me
got him
fired
started,
up.
everybody. We got him started, everybody.
Get it all fired up.
Cowboy's
We're
not a
way
costume.
off of this romance stuff.
That's
I was
okay.
poking around, looking at songs, because I always like bringing up some romantic, like some playlist ideas for Zwift rides and stuff like that.
Yep.
And let's say that you and your sweetie get yourselves an e-bike, and you're gonna go for a little seawall ride, and you throw the old Bluetooth speaker in the basket. What songs are you blasting to for all the world to hear on your Bluetooth speaker when you're out on your romantic ride?
Well, for starters, I don't like it when people do that.
I know, neither do I. I hate it.
Yeah.
Absolutely hate
Okay.
it. But let's say
it's an interesting premise. We'll just pretend that we live in a universe where that's not incredibly rude to impose your taste on other people while they're out trying to enjoy
But
nature.
at least it's a seawall and it's not like
yeah, it's not like you're
on
doing
a
the grouse
trail out in the
grind.
woods. That one really gets me.
Oh man,
Going from Valentines.
I'm the guy that has to say something. Like I can't help it.
Do you do the passive aggressive thing when you're like walking by and be like, "Oh, I'm glad I got to hear that today when I'm out in nature," or do you just like directly go like, "Hey, what are you doing?"
Yeah, it's probably I would call it assertive aggressive. A little more direct than that.
Direct aggressive, yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, let's say we're on the seawall and there's just the two. This is just the you and your date, nobody else in the world, and you want to play a little music to like add to the mood. What are you cycling and listening to?
It's a great question. I would have to give it a bit of thought. I would probably go with I mean, so many things come to mind, but yeah, it's one of those things where you say something and then like you're attaching your entire identity to the response.
Well, no, because like the date's gonna go through themes, right? Like you're gonna have like that little like the first part where it's like all the bouncy love, where like you're not wore out yet, you're just like doing little papa wheelies and stuff, trying to brag. And I suppose like for that part, you could play like Hall and Oates, "You Make My Dreams Come True."
Yeah, a little yacht rock action. Sure.
Yeah, you betcha.
Beauty. Yeah. Okay, I'm digging it.
"Feel So Good" by Mace.
Oh, nice.
Hey, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Or of course this one's coming, Mariah Carey and "Fantasy," featuring Old Dirty Bastard.
Ooh, me and Mariah. Get
Act
along
like babies and
with a
pacifiers.
I really love a song called "Go" by the Chemical Brothers. It is the perfect speed and tempo for riding a bike. It kind of fires you up. It's got Q-Tip doing the vocals.
Is it romantic though? Is it romantic?
Perhaps not. I don't know.
Are you only Rizzy at coffee shops? Because you're really dropping the ball in this playlist thing. Here's one that's a little bit darker.
Yeah.
A little bit darker, but still like good one. "Never Let Me Down Again" by Depeche Mode.
Okay. Yeah.
Put that on we put that on Reel the other day.
I know you like the emo stuff. It's good.
Yeah. "Sad Boy." Nelly and Kelly Rowland, "Dilemma."
I don't know if I know that one.
"No matter what you do, all I think about is you, even when I'm with my boo." Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Yeah, okay.
So like I think that one in particular, like I'm visualizing this right now. You're going around Third Beach, the sun's going down, that's jingling in the background.
Beautiful.
Somebody's gonna pitch some woo.
I don't understand why I can't come up with a single idea for this segment. I should have Well, not entirely. I even while we were talking, I was even like, where the hell are those show notes? I need those show notes. I'm getting caught unawares here. I got to stay on top of this.
Catching him flat-footed.
Before we hit record, it was like, hey man, our vibe is you're the guy that prepared and I'm the guy that shoots his mouth off and fills a half hour full of bullshit. And I'm not
Everything's
even
gone
doing
downhill
that.
since the intro.
That was actually off camera that we talked about that.
How about some pitfalls and bonuses of dating another cyclist? Like, what are the bonuses? Is like cycling. If you're dating a cyclist, cycling is a pretty wicked activity to do with somebody.
Yes.
You know, like you
Yeah.
get to see a lot of the world. You get to see it at a different pace.
Yeah. And are we talking about pitfalls yet, or are we still on the...
We'll just go 1 for 1 on here. We'll go one for
Sure.
one. So like, yeah, you get to go and see new places and stuff with your date. You know, flush a little blood, flush the blood around in you. You know, you're not sitting on a couch. You're not bored for something to do.
I'm going to be doing some bike packing this summer, which is a whole new brand of adventure that I'm really quite looking forward to. And it sort of feels like it's opening up more of the world to us. And we both agree it's a good idea. So maybe it is.
It's like a couple's thing to do, I think.
It takes a certain sort, I think. But yeah, why not? Right? Let's see how we go.
Imagine your partner, like you get a partner and they just smoke you on the bike all the time.
Yeah, there are people who live that.
It's a risk to take.
One partner is always faster than the other, right?
I'm
Magic.
trying to throw speed bumps at you and you're just dodging them.
Sure. Yeah.
Like my current girlfriend doesn't want nothing to do with riding bikes. And I'm totally fine with this because she is somebody that just like will take something up and be good at it right away. And there's nothing more annoying than that.
Is she going to watch this show?
Probably.
Well, that's good enough, right? Enough of an interest to watch the show and be interested. That's
Yeah.
cool. That's
and just thankfully won't start riding bikes and be like 10 times better than me in a couple months.
I guess. Although I think that would be pretty special too. I would like to encourage her to do that, to secretly be training away on Zwift.
Are you talking to her? Or are you reaching out to her on Instagram as we speak?
She slid into my podcast DMs already, so it's not like I don't know where to find her.
I have a proposition for you. I have an indecent proposal for you. Let's train secretly until you get here.
Yeah. I'll put you on a intervals plan. You can build your aerobic fitness and then smoke Wyatt on the bike leg of his next triathlon.
And do the hair flick and the giggle. Oh, wow, this is kind of fun.
See if you can keep up, cowboy.
Yeah, he can't. I guess.
What about our segment?
Yeah, we get to the segment. So I really wanted to get like a segment of like a really romantic segment, like a segment shaped like a heart or, you know, something.
Sure.
But there's even a cooler segment to talk about. And this is, you had a big Sunday, right? You were out the rain in Stanley Park doing how many SPloops?
11.
11 SPloops. 11 SPloops.
Which
and
is,
you know, it's quite the feat. But you know, Jordan, if you would have just hung on for one more sploop, you might have joined the special club that I like to claim membership to, and that is the Stanley Park 12 full laps from the roundabout. This segment is 109 kilometers. So this is another wacky idea thought up by none other than the great Christine, Third Degree Burns, who said, "Hey, do you know there's a 12 laps around Stanley Park segment? We should go and do it." So we woke up at like 5:30 in the morning, went down to Stanley Park before traffic, and did 12 loops. That son of a gun.
This is probably just further proof that I picked the right podcast co-host, that I could be coming off of 11 laps of Stanley Park in the pouring rain, freezing cold toes and fingers, and you can still one-up me by saying that, oh, I did 12 and I'm on the leaderboard or whatever. Or rather, Christine has the QOM.
Christine has the QOM.
12 lap segment.
To be honest, I think that day I did 13, just to be sure.
It's probably not a very full leaderboard, which says a lot about the challenge of doing it.
It's full enough, Jordan.
Well, I don't mean to suggest that it's an easy one to get. That's quite the opposite. I'm suggesting the opposite. That,
I know,
you
I
know,
know. I'm just giving you a hard shot.
it's a pretty big filter for toughness.
It's a peach. And like
Yeah.
you got to do it at like 5:30 in the morning because if you go and try and do it at like
Well, I started at 10 yesterday.
yeah, but it was raining too. Like if you try and
Yeah.
do that in
Yeah.
like
In
May at 10,
summertime, and yeah, with
I
traffic
guess
and
that would be quite the feat. What was that? What was that game they used? Like Paperboy?
yeah.
Remember the game Paperboy? And you ride your
Oh
bike,
yeah.
you had to dodge the cars and stuff.
Firing the papers at
We
the
could do
yeah.
like a real life Paperboy on the Sploops.
It pretty much is. Like I
That's
go afternoons in the sunshine most of the time. And when do I mention that I have a lot of the local legend of a lot of those segments through the park? Is that now, or do I wait?
people will look them up.
I'm not clear.
People are gonna look them up when they find this.
There's the roundabout to roundabout segment is the hotly contested one among the people who contest these kinds of things. And I've mathed it out. I think around March or so, I will take over local legend status and hopefully have it out of reach. But yeah, there's usually 4 or 5 of us in the conversation at a
How
pace of
many
7 or 8
efforts
a
do you
week.
got?
It's about 7 or 8 a week that it takes to in the past 90 days. So it's a rolling 90 days, right? So the number is usually between 90 and 100 laps. And at the moment, I don't have anywhere near that. I just started firing back up again in January, and so I have 43.
Oh, you got 54 efforts.
54. Okay.
Well, this is like there's 10 different Stanley Park loops. You got 54 efforts on
Yeah,
and you are the local legend currently.
Oh, well, there you have it. You heard it here first, folks. I am the current local legend of Stanley Park. Let's just somebody's going to go out there. Oliver Dowd or William Bernoulli are going to go out there this week and take it away from me, and then I'll have to go out and take it back, and so on. And it's funny because Oliver and we met on a ride called 602 that meets every Wednesday in the spring and summertime. And I heard him saying something about being the local legend of Stanley Park, and I was like, "What? I'm the local legend of Stanley Park." He's like, "No, you're not." And then we talked about it, and it was like he was the one who told me that the segment is roundabout to roundabout. And what I had been doing is I come in at Second Beach and I exit at Second Beach. So I'm doing full loops, but I'm not doing the full segment. So now I have to go all the way around to the roundabout and then back through the West End to get home again so I can complete the segment. And as soon as I figured that out, it was like, boom, I shot to the top of the leaderboard, and, we would trade back and forth. So we became fast friends over that little challenge, or, it started with a misunderstanding, and now, like we follow each other on Strava, comment every time you go out and do SPloops or whatever. But there's 2 or 3 other guys who I've never met in person who we also follow one another on Strava for no better reason than the fact that those assholes have stolen the wreath from us on occasions. And it's like, now I have to keep an eye on you so that I know when I have to go out and do 8 to catch up.
What's your PR? What's your PR in Stanley Park loop?
15 minutes-ish.
Ooh.
Yeah, we were cooking. I was in a 2-man time trial with a man called Trevor Bastian. He wanted his PR, and so we agreed to have at her for one good one. And he actually dropped me on the hill, and then I kind of held the gap. And I think we could have been faster if he had stayed in my draft longer on the hill and then taken over for a pull over the top, because on the descent we could have, gotten him a couple more seconds quicker still, because I think you hit the tee shop there, and and then along the lagoon again, there's lots of opportunity for draft, and so the few seconds that he gained on the hill, we could have more than made up, I think, if we'd stuck together. But 14:30, 14:20, so I don't know, you can look it up. 14 minutes, pretty quick.
I can imagine. I don't mean we're too off topic here for the Valentine's Day episode, but I know that our fans are currently just like sweating listening to this story.
I think that's, yeah. If you're a fan of this podcast, hopefully that's a pretty good story. There's
wow. You're gonna get a whole bunch more members here soon. We did pretty good getting around everything here today, hey buddy?
Yeah, we were a little long, I think, maybe in terms of our recording time.
Yeah, I think most people, they're just gonna put this on when they're riding Swift or like doing a workout, right?
Most people. I'm saying. Anybody
Most
who's
people.
actually listened to this, you're out of your mind.
Anybody who's
Thank
actually
you.
listening, what Jordan's trying to say is he loves you, I love you, we both love you. This
We're
is our
immensely grateful.
Valentine out to you. Thank
Grateful.
you for Podcast Cupid for shooting you through the heart with his little podcast arrow and getting you to tune in to watch us. We're
You
just
Could
out
Love
here
a
every
Bad
day.
Name by Bon Jovi.
There we go. Look who decides to show up at the 56-minute mark.
Shit idea too. It was terrible. Thanks, buddy.
I guess we probably let everybody know that here soon in the future we're gonna do some live on location podcasts.
We are. Yeah, that's
We got a
exciting.
few things in the works. We're looking at having a guest or two on here in not too distant future as well.
Follow us on the social medias and send us some direct messages about episode ideas and questions, topics you'd like us to answer, maybe segments that you'd like us to tell stories about, or a story that you have about a segment you've written.
Yeah, we should. Oh, we should do that. That would be a good one.
Yeah. Well, our DMs are always open.
Our DMs are always open.
I
And
would
if we
love
get
to
enough of them
read-
together, if all 20 people that follow us manage to send in a story about their worst segment or their best segment or the segment that they met the love of their lives on,
There it is.
we
Yeah.
might have some material for a show.
Several even. Another idea I had too is that we could get out the rules of cycling. I actually had it on my table and I put it away, but I have the actual rules of cycling paperback, and we could just flip it open, select a rule, and then start talking about our feelings about it, whether we agree or not, stuff like that.
Love it. Love it.
Yeah.
Like I say, if you're watching this podcast, you're going, I can't believe these two idiots come up with shit to talk about and drone on about for an hour every other week. We got many more weeks coming for you. Many more weeks.
We can't be stopped.
Can't be stopped now. All right, buddy. Well, it's good talking to you.
Thanks, Wyatt.
Thanks for coming along. And yeah, catch you in the not too distant future.
Keep the rubber side down and
Don't be a jackass.
signing off.
Later, cowboy.
Bye.